Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Soraya, and today I want to talk about my independent people. I want to talk to people who feel like they just want to be free and they just want to do what they want to do. They don't want no relationship. I don't know about that relationship life. I just want to be free, do what I want. I don't want to compromise. I don't want to have to settle. I feel like, if I'm in a relationship with somebody, it'll be nice for a while, but then eventually I'm going to have to compromise. I'm going to have to not do what I want to do and not live my life the way I want to live it. I don't get to keep my home the way I want to keep it and have it. And I don't get to have the lifestyle that I want. And I just don't want to deal with someone else. Maybe, and I hear this a lot actually from people who have been divorced. They've been there, done that, right? And they're like kind of jaded. They're like, I just want to be alone. I don't want a man. I don't want a woman. I just want to be alone. And unfortunately it's just a hurt because, they've been in a soulmate relationship and they don't want to get into that again. And that's completely understandable. I don't want to get into a soulmate relationship again. So I completely understand. But I want to talk about this because this is actually how and why I met my twin flame to begin with. I have always been an independent-minded person. I have always been very clear about what I like and how I want my life to be and what I enjoy, and that I don't want to compromise. It's just not worth it to me. There's just nothing in me that's ever wanted to settle, and I couldn't ever settle down. Like I couldn't bring myself to settle down in past relationships. And I had been in my longest relationship at that time was 2.5 years. And, it was kind of getting to that point where like he wanted to propose. And I was just like really thinking about my life, and I didn't want to like go any further if this wasn't what I wanted. And I had to really look at that, and I had to think about like what kind of life I wanted to have. And I just realized I was like, all these relationships, they all end the same. Like you have these feelings now, but then you change, they change. And my experience had been that I'd had close friends and relationships where you kind of grow apart. I'd experienced that many times throughout my life. And I was just like, there's no way that I will be with somebody knowing that we're just going to grow apart at some point. Like we're going to value different things, and maybe, they really focus on a certain area of their life and they're thriving in that area, but I don't even care about that. I'm focusing on something completely different. And before you know it, we're in different places. I didn't want that. There's like, you couldn't pay me to be in a relationship with somebody where I felt like I had to settle or compromise. I just couldn't do it because I was thinking to myself, I'm like, I'm happy with myself. Like, why would I leave that to not do what I want to do? You know what I mean? Like it was a hard sell for me. I couldn't do it. I got clear within myself. I basically was talking to God about this, and I was like, God, unless there's a man, and I don't think that this is true because I didn't believe in twin flames. I was actually pretty cynical, if you can't tell. I didn't believe in twin flames. I didn't even know what this was, but I didn't know about twin flames at all. But I just told God, I was like, unless there's a man that not only has a lot in common with me, not only has really strong feelings for me, and I have really strong feelings for him, but a man who will always grow with me and value the exact same things with me and will always be an equal to me, like an equal partnership, because we're always going to grow together. If that exists, then I'll be with that man. But other than that, I'm just going to be alone. Like, honestly, I'll just be alone. And I didn't believe that a man like that existed. I thought that was very unrealistic, as most people do. And so I just kind of was like, okay, like, if it exists, but I'm not like holding my breath that exists. And I got clear within myself. I was like, okay, so I kind of expect to be alone. And I kind of just like, not kind of, I literally made peace with it. I was just like, okay, like I'll just be alone and I'll do what I want to do. I'll live my life and live my purpose, and I'll find great fulfillment in my life. I knew I wanted to have pets. I wasn't sure whether or not I wanted to have children, but I could foresee myself having my pets and living my life. And I was like, what about what society would think of me? Like, I'd be like, cat lady or whatever. I was like, did I have a cat back then? I had a cat. I did, yeah. I thought I'd be a cat lady. I can't remember. This was like 10 years ago. Um, ish. I don't know. I had to do. I think it's like nearly 9 years ago. Um, but I was like, I guess I'll just be a cat lady. Oh well, haters gonna hate. I'm gonna just live my simple life, do my own thing, and be alone. And I was okay with that. Like, honest to God, I reached a place where I was okay. I could see my life like that, and I was like, I'll be happy. Like, I have so many interests. I have so many things I'm passionate about. I'll fill my life up with that, and that's just what I'm gonna focus on. I'm just gonna be with God and my pets. And 2 weeks later, I met my twin flame. Had no idea what was going on, and then about a year and a half later, after like trying to get together, but always feeling like there was something preventing us and having all that stuff happening that can so often happen with twin flames, I started looking for answers. And then I found Jeff and Shlea's work, and I tested it for like 8 months to see if it actually worked. And it did. Twin flames were real, like proven for me. To my standards of it being proven, I had to really test it because I was like I said, very cynical. I had to know that this was real. It was very, it sounded very like too good to be true, like a little too woo-woo for me. So I had to test it a lot. Tested it, found out it works, and I've been doing this work ever since, because if something works, you do it because it works. And yeah, so that's kind of how I ended up here with becoming an Ascension coach, is helping other people with this because it works and because it's such a good life. It's such a good lifestyle to be on the twin flame journey, and it's just growing in peace and growing in love for yourself. It's a beautiful life. But the reason I share all of this is because if you're that person, similar to how I was and am, I'm still that way, twin flames are actually for you. like like twin flames are like the exception to all the bad experiences. If you're this person who values honoring themselves and doing what actually feels good for them and doesn't want to compromise and doesn't want to settle, twin flames are the ones who meet the bill for this and are a perfect fit for somebody who has that value system. So the reason that that's the case is because your twin flame is literally you. You're one at your core. So you choose as one. That means that you heal as one. You are equal, like 100% equal in terms of your vibration. They struggle with the same things you struggle with. They're strong in the same things that you're strong in. You guys share essentially the same inner world. And so this is like you have met your match. And the beautiful thing about this is you never have to compromise because they're literally you. If you were to wake up one day and say, oh my goodness, like I know I want to move to Mexico. Like I am meant to be in Mexico. I just had this like epiphany, this awakening, and I know I'm supposed to be in Mexico. You'll literally get a call from your twin flame that day, probably within a few minutes, or like, when they can get around to it. But you're going to talk to your twin flame very soon after, and they're going to be like, you know what? I just can't stop thinking about Mexico. Do you want to visit? I don't know. I just feel like I'm supposed to be in Mexico. Honest to God, it happens like that. I've had that experience before. Not that I wanted to go to Mexico, but of like deciding to be with my twin flame and have a certain experience with my twin flame. And he's like, yeah, let's go do that. It's you choose as one. So this is the relationship where you don't have to compromise yourself in any way. And so, yeah, welcome. Welcome. I mean, you could still, choose that you don't even want to be with your twin flame. But what I will say is if you really love yourself and you enjoy being alone and you enjoy doing things the way you like to do things, you're going to really love, like you want to know this person. You want to know your twin flame because they're like your bestie for the restie. They get it. Like they understand how much you love what you love and the way that you love it. And it's like, that's your best friend who like gets it, So if you really love being with yourself and enjoying yourself and doing things the way that you want to do things, your twin flame amplifies that. And absolutely, it's an amplifier of everything that you love about being with you. So highly recommend. As a fellow independent person, I've always been about freedom. My family will tell you, my parents will tell you, like I have never been someone who accepts people trying to control me, people telling me what to do. It's a hard no for me. I just have never been that person. I don't, people tell me what to do and I'm just like, it goes in one ear, out the other. I do what I'm going to want to do. I'm going to honor myself. And yeah, that's just me. And twin flames are amazing for people who have that clarity. If you know that you really love yourself and you love your desires and your passions and you don't want to settle in any way, this is where it's at. You could do the Lone Ranger thing and just not, ever meet your twin flame if you don't want to. But if you really love being yourself and enjoying yourself and doing what you want to do, you're going to really love your twin flame. Like, you kind of owe it to yourself, in my opinion. That's my opinion. Take it or leave it. But you kind of owe it to yourself to find out about these twin flames, because you're really going to like that. They're just the coolest. When you love yourself, like, oh my God, they're so cool. Like, they are the person that you can like stay up all night talking to them every single day. Like, you probably need to sleep, right? You probably don't want to do that every night, but you could, because you never run out of things to talk about. You guys are always, you're just like, yeah, I get it. And it's like you build on each other's ideas, and you're like, it's like you're on the same train of thought all the time. And you're just, it's literally like Jeff and Shelley talked about this in Twin Flame Ascension School. It's like two parts of you are communicating with each other, like two parts of your mind, And so it's like your inner dialogue, but manifested outside with a physical person. You guys can tell twin flames are great. Or at least I feel that way, because I'm really passionate about this. So yeah, worth exploring, worth finding out. If you want to know how to attract your twin flame, all of my coaching resources are beneath this video. Definitely reach out. I would love to help you attract yours. It's like the funnest thing in the world for me when people meet their twin flame for the first time. So I would love to help you meet yours. All those resources are down beneath this video. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in the next one.